Welcome back to Ultra Review, episode number 2. We are discussing episodes 5 through 8 of Ultra Q. These episodes, I'd say, well, in the case of 5, 7, 8, really enjoy those. Let's talk about the bad episodes of the series. Yeah, we have a bad one, episode 6, Focus on Little Kid. By the way, the true stars of the series do nothing. They just heard about a robbery and focus on a kid the whole episode. It reminds me a lot of Godzilla's Revenge. Focus on a kid, he goes to a place called Dragon's Palace. And I'm like, yeah, this is a really bad episode. And it's only the 6th episode. And his turtle goes a little bigger. It's the size of an alligator snapping turtle. It's not a monster. It's a regular sized turtle. Turtles are regularly that size. And by the end of the episode, of course, they think he's a liar. And then eventually opens the box. Oh, he still goes old man. And then eventually it looks like he stops using turtles. And eventually the whole class starts using turtles. It's a very stupid episode. It basically amounts to nothing. Like, is there any monster fight this episode? Like, monster types? Well, the Garo does fight. Well, Goro, he does fight a dragon, and that's pretty much it. We also have a little girl named Orihime, who does stuff, and the episode 6 is a skippable episode. 5 is interesting because only the main character June appears in this episode, because Yumina and Ipaki, they don't appear in this episode. The whole story of this one, he goes down Antarctica of all places, and it reminds me a little bit of The Thing. This episode, basically in Antarctica. Well, you could say yes, it's based on a thing, but here's the thing. This was released in 1966. The Thing film, the John Carpenter version, was released in 1982. Roughly 16 years after this episode came out. So the only purpose we have for The Thing is probably the 50s movie. So, basically, the whole story is that he's basically gone to Antarctica for a story where he's on a boat, he gets injured, just stumbles into a woman's room, who's a geologist, apparently also the medical doctor for some reason. They're also looking for a guy who went missing 3 years around events in this episode. And we do have monsters this episode, yes. Which at first we had one point where they deny the fact that we see a flying snowmobile. Yes. Oh, by the way, the monsters episode is Pelaguya. Yes, this weird creature who in this main series, this is his only appearance. And you're thinking, really? Well, in case you're curious though, he does return after this. And you're thinking, how does he return? Well, he does not return in this series, he returns in other series. But I found the episode really good. I thought it was well paced. In the case of SOS Mount Fuji, which by the way, the monsters episode is a rock monster. Yes, a freaking rock monster. Where it just causes chaos. Apparently this is causing what caused this monster to appear was because apparently Mount Fuji was erupting. You're thinking, really? Mount Fuji erupting. Despite the fact in real life it's never erupted in modern day. Not that I've heard of it anyways. I've never heard of Mount Fuji erupting. And we have basically where the person defeats a monster is the guest star of the episode, who they spend a little bit of time developing, and he sees and says, he says, my sister. That's all he says to her. Despite the fact he hasn't seen her in 15 years, because he went missing when he was 4. So that means currently he's 19. And they're also claiming the fact that this guy may not be her brother. Yeah, this is something that's never really explained. It's like they claim that, and nothing is done with it at all. Yeah, and eventually, how this monster came about was because apparently a rock came off from a nearby lake, and it's this weird thing. Eventually, the thing is destroyed by the end of the episode by the guest star, whose nickname is Tarzan. And then eventually gets him a haircut, puts on a suit, and he goes straight. He basically like does a little pose, and that's it. A really good episode. 8 is quite interesting as one. Where the monstrous one is a mole. Yes, a mole monster. How did this come about? Well, we see this mysterious guy take a hammer and apparently bring something inside this greenhouse, which kills the larva for basically bees. It's called honey zillion, this thing. And this thing causes mole to go giant size. Yep. And this was a really good episode. It felt like a mini Godzilla movie, this one, basically, because the military is involved. Which is the first time that they've been involved in a story like this since episode... I think it's episode 4. Because even like every few episodes, they have to involve the military. But the monster is not technically destroyed by the end of the episode. It survives, but it just gets away. But also apparently taking the mayor's town with him, too. There's also a love triangle in this episode. Like, okay, interesting. I found this episode really good, too. And so far in 8 episodes, I've only come across one bad episode. And as to this particular review, I have exactly 20 more episodes to go for Ultra Q. And then that's it. Yeah, this one does feel like a good conclusion, possibly. But at least basically I left on a cliffhanger like it was with episode 4. Yep. But not really much else to say with these 4 episodes. I still got these other episodes to go, so I'm going to get through that. But first, going to be Comic Corner next, and then eventually back to those episodes, okay? Next video. Bye.